Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, September 2. All is in place for the holding of general elections on Thursday, September 3. The Electoral Office of Jamaica is reporting that its systems have been fine-tuned and are ready for the polls. On Monday, Election Day workers, as well as members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force and the Jamaica Defense Force, cast their votes. The Electoral Office of Jamaica says it went smoothly and persons abided by the voting protocols. As the general public gears up to elect the next members of Parliament, persons are reminded to wear a mask to the polling stations, sanitize hands, allow a temperature check, and leave the polling station promptly after voting. Meanwhile, residents in 7 constituencies will be using an electronic voter identification system for tomorrow's general election. The system will be used in Western St. Andrew, West Central St. Andrew, Southeastern St. Andrew, Eastern St. Andrew, Central Kingston, East Kingston and Port Royal, and Eastern St. Catherine. Director of Elections Glaspole Brown says the system, which uses biometric technology to identify voters, will be rolled out in more constituencies over time.
Certainly, the vision of the Commission is that we hope to roll that out in as many as possible as in terms of the number of constituencies. Certainly our vision is to put them in the 7,000 polling stations across the island. We have started the process. Yes. It's now at the procurement committee, PPC. Yes. So hopefully during the next election cycle, we'll be able to roll out those gadgets across the entire island.
Mr. Brown was speaking during a recent JIS Get the Facts interview. With the electronic voter identification system, voters will be asked to place a finger on a fingerprint scanner, and once their identity has been verified, they will be issued the ballots for voting. In the meantime, the Electoral Office of Jamaica, EOJ, is reminding employers that employees who intend to vote on Election Day are entitled to 3 hours time off from work in addition to their usual lunch hour. The reminder follows reports of employers denying workers their voting hours. The EOJ says this is a breach of the Representation of the People Act. The law, however, does not apply to persons who begin work at 10 a.m. or later, or those who end work at or before 2 p.m. The EOJ says it has also been made aware that some employers have been advising employees who intend to cast their vote and work as Election Day workers that they will be required to quarantine for 14 days after the polls. But the Electoral Office says this is not necessary because the necessary safety precautions will be taken. These include mandatory thermometer checks, wearing of masks, continuous sanitization procedures, physical distancing, and the single use of voting pencils by electors. The EOJ says polling stations will open at 7 a.m. and close at 5 p.m. Electors are being encouraged to vote throughout the day rather than the first 2 hours of polling when lines are the longest. In other news, the National Water Commission, NWC, has spent $50 million on water infrastructure improvement works under the Major Infrastructure Development Project, MIDP. NWC President Mark Barnett says the overall project includes work on the Ferry Pipeline, Marcus Garvey Drive, Constant Spring Road, Barbican Square, Macfield in Westmoreland, and other small projects. He says the works reflect collaborative efforts with the National Works Agency to ensure that pipelines are being laid by the NWC while the new roads are being paved. The MIDP forms part of the NWC's plans for efficient distribution of water and its broader efforts to increase reliability within the network. The Commission of Strata Corporations, CSC, says it has implemented COVID-19 safety protocols as it resumes its dispute resolution service. The CSC says this is to protect staff and clients from contracting the novel coronavirus. CEO of the Commission, Sandra Garrick, says the protocols include the signing of a sanitization agreement by participants, temperature checks, maintaining 6 feet distance between persons, and having a maximum of 6 persons in a room. Mrs. Garrick says each hearing is now limited to a maximum period of 2.5 hours. The dispute resolution process allows the CAC to oversee conflicts between proprietors or between proprietors and the executive committee of a strata property. Persons wishing to utilize the service may visit csc.gov.jm. Hearings are scheduled within 30 days of the CSC receiving the application and based on the availability of inspectors. And finally, 3 more Jamaicans have died due to COVID-19. This brings to 24 the number of COVID-19 related deaths on the island. The deceased are males ranging from 73 to 88 years old who hail from Clarendon and St. Elizabeth. In the meantime, the Ministry of Health and Wellness is reporting that there are 224 new COVID-19 cases recorded on the island. The new cases pushed the island's confirmed number to 2,683. The newest positives range in age from 2 to 87 years old, with addresses in 12 of the 14 parishes on the island. 5 are contacts of confirmed cases, while 219 are under investigation. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.